What's up guys, it's Will here, back again, and today we're here for a very different video, and we're gonna try this. Maybe it's exciting, maybe it's reckless, who knows? We're gonna see how this goes, but we're gonna address some mean comments I've received from Hot Toys collectors, make it fun, make it lighthearted, and just have a good time with it. Maybe there's some valid criticism in there. We're gonna go searching from that, see if we can improve things on this channel. Guys, before we get started, make sure to click that like button down below, click that subscribe button, and click that notification bell so you are notified when content goes live on this channel. That said, let's just do this. All right, guys, so I had this idea for this video because I had seen other YouTubers outside of the realm of collecting do something similar, sort of addressing criticism, addressing feedback, addressing, sort of relevant comments that they've received over the years. And I thought that's a pretty good idea. I wonder why no one's done that in the realm of collecting. So I thought, hey, why not be the first to do it? But more often than not, anyone who's been on YouTube for a long period of time knows that you have to grow a little bit of a thicker skin. If you're putting yourself out there in the public eye, you're gonna get criticism. 98% of the comments I get are very positive and very supportive and engaging. Every once in a while, though, there will be some negative ones, and you just kind of have to take it in stride and go from there. Honestly, when I read them more often than not, they make me laugh because I'm like, damn, like this person's really mad at me. But it's just kind of part of it. You have to be able to grow a thicker skin and say, you know what, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm being authentic. I'm giving my honest opinions. And if some people don't like that and they really just don't vibe with me or my content for whatever reason, that's okay. And there's other channels that they can go and watch, and that is totally fine. I, though, seriously am very happy that you guys have embraced me in the ways that you have. Like I said, 98% of the comments I get are so positive. And again, this video is not intended to be a woe is me, oh my God, look at all these mean comments I get, because they're really not that frequent. More often than not, they're just kind of, isolated comments. And I can't honestly find them all. So there probably are other ones out there that I've just not really been able to locate. Most of them are posted directly on my channel more often than not. You know what? Some people are just gonna fucking hate you, and that's okay. But nonetheless, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our first comment. So this first one was actually a comment I received, I believe, on my Han Solo video. You're gonna see that a decent amount of these comments are actually from the Han Solo video recently, just because that one was a little bit controversial. The first comment said, "Your in-art writing is blinding you." So I find this very interesting just because I think a lot of people, anytime you present an opinion that they don't agree with, or maybe you present something that's sort of unexpected, they'll sort of psychoanalyze and say, well, there's got to be a reason that he presented an opinion that's not the norm, or maybe that's not what I agree with, right? So then maybe there's a psychoanalysis process that occurs, and people are like, well, what could the reason be? Like, is he being corrupted by something else? Like, is he dedicated to another brand or whatever? Like, no, not really. I just felt like the Han Solo hair was ass. I said the head sculpt was pretty good, but I just felt like the hair was ass. And I felt like I needed to say that. I feel like I've been pretty consistent in my criticism of all of these companies. Kiko and I, for a long time on the live streams, were criticizing InArt for their lack of, releasing the items at a reasonable amount of time for what we thought. And now they've been releasing things, they've been more communicative. So they've kind of answered that feedback, and we've been a little bit less critical in that realm because they've been delivering in the areas that we were critical of prior. So yeah, I definitely don't think it's InArt writing, but I do love InArt and what they're producing right now, but I also love Hot Toys and what most of they produce as well. That Darth Vader that just got released, that thing's an absolute fucking grail, dude. The thing's insane. So I don't think I'm InArt writing. Maybe I'm riding the hype wave a little bit, but I'm pretty excited about what they're doing right now. And I'm pretty excited about what Hot Toys is doing when they put the effort in. So yeah, I don't think the InArt writing is changing much. I think the Han Solo hair is just ass. I'm sorry. So this is one that I will get every so often, not too frequent, but it's sort of one of the major criticisms of people who really don't like this channel that they throw out. It says, "You will do anything to get video clicks." I did respond. I thought it was kind of clever. I said, I don't have an OnlyFans yet. So if you guys would like to see that, you'd like to subscribe to the OnlyFans, let me know. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree with this. This is something that I think gets misconstrued quite frequently. And again, I do see this criticism from time to time of certain crowds who just really don't like the content on this channel, and that's fine. But to me, clickbait, the term clickbait gets thrown out pretty regularly and pretty incorrectly, very frequently. So clickbait is really deceptive or misleading advertising. That's what it is by definition. So for example, think of the word bait, right? If you think of the word bait, like I'm gonna put bait on a fish hook, right? The fish thinks it's getting a worm, but what it's really getting is a hook, right? And I'm reeling you in that way. That's not what the titles of my videos do. The Han Solo one, this was a comment on the Han Solo video. So when I say Han Solo is a fail, and then I go in the first thing in the video and say, this Han Solo figure is ass for the hair, then I'm representing the video accurately. I said in the title, it's a fail. And then I go into the video and say, this Han Solo figure, it's ass, right? Clickbait would be something different. Clickbait would be if I go in and say in the title, Han Solo is a fail. And then I go in the video and be like, this thing's a 10 out of 10 fucking grail. At that point, I misled you, right? I deceived you into clicking the video based on what you thought you were getting, and you got something entirely different. That would be clickbait. I think people are conflating a catchy title, a clickable title, with clickbait. Those are two different things. Yeah, definitely not doing it for the clicks. I'm not a very good liar. So I don't have a great poker face. So this is one where I won't quite do anything to get video clicks, and I do think people misconstrue that from time to time. This one was actually on the Han Solo video as well. I think I pissed off a lot of people with that video, so yeah, unfortunately. This comment said, bro's just mad a figure has more hair than him. I got this comment a few times on this video actually, and I get it every now and then. People, I think, are under the misconception that being bald is something to like be ashamed of, or you should be like insecure about it. Like they're gonna like poke at your insecurity. I think I can tell you that just for virtual certainty and experience, that anyone who's been bald for a reasonable amount of time, and I've been shaving my head for like 5 or 6 years, probably maybe more. We're pretty comfortable with it. It's one of those where, you know, male pattern baldness is very common. I started experiencing it at the age of 24. So around that point, I was like, you know what? Let's just shave it, dude. Because you might feel more insecure if you actually have the hair and you're trying to like work around it and cover it up, but it's really just receding and balding and stuff. So the fact that you're shaving it, grow a little bit of facial hair, get a decent physique, hey, you can look masculine, man. So again, like you just gotta laugh at these things and say, well, I'm not really insecure about being bald, so it's really fine, I promise you. Oh, this one actually happened the other day. So I was actually trying to buy a Moon Knight figure, and I was working with the seller, and he posted on the 16 Republic BST group asking for a reference check. And someone actually commented, he's a fake collector. So this is one that I find very interesting because this term fake collector has been thrown around pretty regularly, particularly when it comes to me, but I guess it gets thrown onto anyone that is disagreed with, right? This is sort of those attempts, I feel like it, people trying to discredit the opinion of others instead of actually addressing the opinion itself. It's very much an ad hominem type of debating strategy where you sort of try to discredit the individual instead of discrediting the argument. I think fake collector has actually become quite a pretty interesting term. I think I've sort of embraced the title of fake collector that's been thrown on me by certain people. And actually the deal went through. So this person wasn't able to derail the deal in any way. Not that they were intending to, but I bought that Moon Knight, so I'm really excited about that one. And I think right now, I have somewhere between 45 and 50 figures, somewhere around there. I think maximum I'll probably have somewhere between 60 to 70 figures. That's just the space that I have permitted to me in my house that I live in now. So I don't really have room for more figures than that. And not that I would really want to either. The definition is going to change pretty arbitrarily on how many figures you need to be a real collector. And you guys recognize it for what it is, right? It's just simply a method of gatekeeping and saying like, well, you're not a real collector unless you have this many figures. And then, the problem becomes, well, what is the definition of a real collector and how many figures? It's so arbitrary and subjective. So one collector might say 100 to be a real collector. Another collector might say 50. Another collector might say 206. So there could be any number of definitions. So you should never really collect to appease other people and try to gain validation through others. If you collect and you view your collection as valuable and your input is valuable, then that's all that really matters. Yeah, I have like 45 to 50 figures, somewhere around there, and I'll probably have around 70. That's just what's most comfortable to me. And as we go through the video, maybe I'll share more of my justification behind that. There are reasons, but yeah, that was pretty funny. The comment section turned into like the Wild Wild West, bro. I couldn't even see this comment because I have this person blocked, but yeah, it was pretty wild. The guy was just asking for a reference, and then it turned into whether I'm a real or fake collector. So, but I promise you, I do have collectibles, and I'm a real collector. So, so this one was actually from the Han video as well. So the person commented, a bald man has an issue with hair. His hair is accurate to the movie he's in. I've checked the film references. It's the same. Well, I'm glad someone checked the film references. Your Hong Kong calculation also left out the VIP discount on Star Wars figures, and Merrick is a horrible figure, by the way. So I did comment, as you can see here, lots to digest here. This comment did genuinely confuse me because, for one, this was a Han Solo preview video, and in no way, shape, or form do I believe that I referenced Merrick at any point in the video. So Merrick was completely out of left field. I'm actually not, you guys are gonna have to let me know, is there a VIP discount on Star Wars figures? I don't ever recall hearing about that. I've never seen that VIP discount. If you know about it and you haven't told me, I'm gonna be upset, but I've not heard of any VIP discount on Star Wars figures. So someone is gonna have to let me know what that discount is and how I can obtain it, because I've not seen it myself. Again, the bald thing, I braise, my head's pretty shiny, actually. I need to shave it right now, actually, to be honest. But so this one wasn't even necessarily directed towards me, but I thought it was interesting. So it was on the Han Solo video, and this person said, but all of you will buy him anyway because you have no self-esteem. This one I didn't quite really understand, and I even commented, as you can see, I'm genuinely confused by this one. I didn't really get this one. I didn't know if lack of self-esteem was correlated to making a Hot Toys purchase. I wasn't sure what the connection there was. Yeah, it's funny to see these type of comments and just what people believe to be true. And again, finding justification for why an opinion doesn't line up with your own. So I think we're starting to sense a trend here. This comment says, sounds like Will's jealous of all that, the hair. Hashtag say no to clickbait. Hashtag turn the hat around, stupid. So I've already addressed the bald thing. That's totally fine. Again, that comment kind of made me laugh because I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm jealous of Han Solo's sculpted 6-scale hair. I mean, could you imagine putting that on my head and see how that would look? I guess we could try it, right? I guess we could see how that would go. I think for a lot of people too, if you go and watch YouTubers that are outside of the realm of 1/6 collecting, you can see that my strategies are not atypical in any sense. So you go and watch, YouTubers that have clickable thumbnails and titles that really catch your eye. It's just strategy. That's all it is. It's really not meant to deceive you or mislead you or anything like that. The hat thing though, that was in reference, I'm assuming, to my Gandalf hat that I did with the in-art review. That one is a valid criticism because I did fuck that one up. I thought in the review that I was doing such a good thing. I was like, the hat's just kind of sus. Like the hat doesn't really work right. That was my fault. And people got on me for the styling of the beard and the hair and such too. I wasn't as familiar with rooted hair at the time. I'm still learning. I'm still relatively new to reviews. So that was something that I will take ownership of. That is something I feel like I probably could have done a better job of in the review. So apologies for that one. In the future reviews, I will make sure to correct that for you. Okay, so we have a double comment here. This is gonna be a good one. So Will Foxwell, that's my name, by the way, if you didn't know, is wild trying to say shit while not even owning an A New Hope Han. I do want to set the record straight on this one. I did own a New Hope Han for about probably 1.5 to 2 years. This is one that I did have and I really loved it, but someone sent me a crazy offer for Chewie and Han, and I was just like, all right, we're going to do that because I'm just waiting for a remake or a reissue. Now we got Return of the Jedi Han, and I'm assuming there'll probably be a New Hope version or a Bespin version at some point, another Chewie. So I did have that Han for a while, and that's very easily verifiable if you look at my old collection tour. So, and then the comment goes on to say, dude, you were literally a non-collector, LMAO. You have what, 40 figs? Yeah, somewhere between like 45 and 50 or something like that. And you feel you are a leading authority on anything, spreading broke ass BS like less is more. One thing I do want to address with this comment, I think it would actually be more broke ass actually to have more figures in most people's cases, unless you make such a substantially high income that you have enough income to spend on figures and it won't really dramatically impact your budget long term. But I think you'd actually be more broke ass if you were spending more money on figures instead of saving that money and putting it aside in a savings or a Roth IRA or a standard traditional IRA or something like that. So to me, I think the less is more strategy promotes the opposite of broke assness. I think it promotes something a little bit more productive. There's balance to be struck in life. Collecting is not the only thing that we do. Everyone's going to do their own thing, right? And that's totally fine. You collect how you see fit. If you want to collect 300 or 206 Hot Toys, I think that's great. I think that's great, man. But for me, that's just not how I want to do it. I've never described myself as a leading authority. So to address that part of the comment, I don't think I'm a leading authority on anything. I think if people value my opinion, then that's great. I've never proclaimed myself to be an expert of Hot Toys or anything in the realm of collecting. I just simply offer my opinions based on the best information that I have and the experiences that I've garnered, and then people can make their own determinations from there. I've never described myself as a Hot Toys expert, and I never will. I don't view myself in that way. I just view myself as a regular collector who wants to share his opinion online. So the comment continues, the fact that you don't even have at least a 100 Hot Toy collection and want to have an opinion is nothing short of disgusting. Like you literally sold your Video Game Miles 2.0 just after you were reviewing it. I did do that actually. Fucking 2-bit non-collector thinks he's something. So I did sell out Miles after I reviewed it, and I will continue to do things like that just because, for one, obviously I want to review things to widen my experiences and to widen my perspective as far as Hot Toys are concerned. And I want to be able to experience different figures that I maybe would otherwise not have. And, some of those figures I'll get in and I'll say, okay, well, like I really love this and I want to keep it. And some I'll be like, okay, well, like maybe I thought it would be better. I just don't really care this much about the character as much as I thought I did. And then I'll end up selling it. So those are things that I will continue to do. I have no shame in that whatsoever. I think it's okay to experience different figures and widen your horizons and sell things when you need to. So I'm not a rich man. I make a very middle-class income. So I think that's fine. So I really have no shame in that whatsoever. The comment goes on to say, he's just jealous he owns like 40 figures and isn't a real collector, but a 2-bit clout chaser who needs to go into others' collection rooms to stay afloat. So I think they're referring to the collection tour reactions. Those were always a fun thing to do. I haven't done those as much in recent times, but I enjoyed doing them just because usually I would get to experience other collectors' collections and share those collections with other collectors who then were inspired with different ideas on how to build their own displays, maybe even posing, or just in general, coming together as a community to share in the excitement of a collection tour. So that's really what it was. Of course, it was to grow my own channel as well, and and introduce other channels that maybe were a little bit smaller than mine that I could get people to go to. Yeah, I'm definitely not a clout chaser, because I do want to throw this out there. If you're chasing clout and you want to get into YouTube, I wouldn't do 6-scale collecting. I would try to go into something a little bit more financially lucrative and more, influenceable, because this is a generally pretty small community. So if you're chasing clout and hot toys collecting, I don't think you're going to find it here. I think you're going to be chasing a ghost, because the community is just simply not big enough as far as YouTube is concerned to obtain any sort of reasonable clout. So I think if you're clout chasing here, I think you're going to need to reconsider that goal. So we got another really good comment here. It says, you just don't know how to collect. You sell most of the figures you buy and find fault when something better comes along. Again, I always find these comments very interesting, because I think everyone has an idea of how is best to collect. And I think if you're this invested in it, I do just genuinely think that you should go outside more. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I do genuinely think that if you're that invested in how someone else is collecting, and you're that willing to make comments repeatedly about how someone collects poorly and you don't, then I really think you should explore and expand different horizons, because I do think there are other things in life that can concern you, just because there are so many other things to focus and fixate on, and worrying about how someone else is collecting, to spend enough time to stress yourself out about it and make comments about it. I just feel like there's probably a better way to spend that energy. I will address the part about selling most of the figures I buy. That's actually not true. I did sell a decent amount of figures last year. And again, that was just because, I was moving back home after a breakup and decided to sort of downsize a little bit, just because my space lessened. When I got back to my previous house, I didn't have as much space as I had prior. So I needed to make some adjustments to my philosophy and make some adjustments to my overall collection. Okay, so we got another good comment here. So, can't let 2-bit nobodies like WillFoxification, I might as well just change that username now. That's pretty good. Talk shit while buying 2 figs an entire year. I will say, for the record, I do not buy 2 figs an entire year. There's many more than that. Fuck that absolute wannabe. How on earth does dude even run a YouTube getting 2 figures a whole year? I mean, that would be pretty challenging, I'm not gonna lie. I picked up like way more weekly, and I don't tell folks what's the best way to collect, display, etc. Get that absolute waste man out of here. So yeah, there's a lot to address in this comment, but I think just in simple terms, I will address the idea of 2 figures per year. That's definitely not accurate. I don't recall how many figures I bought in 2023, but there was a decent amount. And in 2024 already, there's definitely been some. I slowed things down a little bit in the beginning of this year just to save up some money. And I've been obviously getting tattooed. So that is a pretty significant expense. And there are other things. I had to get new tires. So that was like $800 to $1,000. That was pretty expensive, actually. I offer my perspective and what I believe to be true, and then you can make your own judgment. So I don't say like you have to do this. You have to collect this way. What I say is you can collect this way. This is my opinion, the best way to do it. But it's no different than taking advice from anyone online. You can perceive their credibility and make a determination individually. I don't know what a waste man is, but I kind of like it. I kind of like that title. So this one actually might be a valid one. This says, LOL, sorry, but this is the worst way to show off the figure. Looks like he just kissed Electro or something. And what the fuck did you do to the hat? I think he meant to say, did you do to the hat? This was on the Gandalf video. I think I understand it now. I think I did the math and I figured out what he was saying. He was saying the hair didn't look good and the hat didn't look good, which are valid criticisms. I think I did fuck that one up. I think the Gandalf just came out that way. And I was like, well, you know what? Gandalf's pretty fucking messy. So I think it's fine. And I probably should have put a little more care and effort into styling and into the beard and the hair, and of course into displaying the hat correctly. So again, that was my fault. And in the future, I will do better with those reviews. And I haven't really had that problem since. So that is my most infamous review moment, which is fine. So this comment wasn't even actually to me. I think it was a friend who was trying to sell something in one of the groups, and someone messaged him and said this: I will give you a $1,000 because I want to hump your doll. Very sexy doll. So I'm thinking this might be a troll job, but if not, this person is very forward, and they totally they're willing to put themselves out on a limb for this one. So this is the final one we're going to address. And I think this one's a little bit older actually, but the person said, I saw some people in the chat expressing their discontent, but last I checked, dude did a collection tour and had no Hot Toys in it. I think that's why people are calling him out, acting like an expert, and he don't even collect figures anymore and constantly selling his figures in groups at a loss, and he's out here trying to give advice. So these are the type of comments that I think can spread like wildfire when people have misconceptions or very limited information. I'm assuming they're maybe referring to a sort of, simple collection tour that I did on Instagram at one point. I had just moved back to Maryland and I didn't have Modry cases at the point, and I couldn't have my old display cases back in here anymore. So I had to find adjustments, a necessary change to be made, right? So I went ahead and I think I put all my Hot Toys upstairs in a sort of vacant room to keep them safe while I was moving things around so I didn't break something. So I just did a brief little tour saying, oh, all my collectibles are back. Here's what I have. And I don't think I showed the Hot Toys in that one because the Hot Toys were upstairs. So I think people then jumped to the conclusion that I had actually offloaded all of my Hot Toys, when if they had seen my other Instagram stories, they would know that to not be true, because I had posted, stuff on my stories showing all the Hot Toys on the floor and stuff like that. So people will jump to conclusions based on limited information. And this is something that I do think people need to be careful about, because these sort of narratives do spread based on any sort of, agenda maybe that someone might have. But again, I've never claimed expertise. I don't even think Justin or anyone who has a ton of figures, Kiko, have ever claimed expertise as a Hot Toys collector. I think there's experience and expert are different. I've been in the collecting game for 5 years, and I feel like I've gone through ups and downs and made mistakes and learned from things. I shared the story about, before I was keeping track of my pre-orders, and I just would pre-order most things. And I think I had 15K in pre-orders, deposits, and like just sort of built up a debt that I had. So when I started collecting, my documentation, I went through and I said, okay, well, something's definitely wrong here. So then I went through and canceled a bunch of stuff, and I told people what I had learned, and I offer advice based on that, my experiences and those type of things. I never sold everything. That was never a reality. And so I do think sometimes it's important just maybe do a little bit of research just before you start spreading narratives, and people start pinning comments that are just factually inaccurate. All right, guys, so that's that. Those are the mean comments, at least that I could find in recent times. I'm sure there've been other ones. Again, I'm not going to go digging through the depths of the internet trying to find everything that's been said about me. And again, I do find that 98% of comments are very positive and productive and supportive. So yeah, and I'm always open to constructive criticism. I didn't include any of the constructive criticism comments because those are really great. Like if someone says something and it's actually a nice, like, hey, well, maybe you could do this a little bit better. Maybe you could try this thing. I'm like, cool, that's actually a great idea. And I appreciate you being so respectful about it. That's really just kind of what I'm looking for at the end of the day. But these mean comments, I think, are more so just funny. They're comedic, they're humorous, because some of them put way too much effort into trying to just be nasty, right? So it's fine. Like I said, when you're in this type of territory as someone who puts their opinion online, then it's just going to be part of the terrain. So it's okay. And I appreciate you guys for supporting me all this time. And I thought it would be fun. Take a look at these mean comments, just laugh about it, have a good time together, make it lighthearted, and just kind of go with it. And this YouTube journey has been pretty great. Of course, there's highs and lows, but it's been exciting, and I've been enjoying that. And of course, expanding my collection and just having fun with you guys. It's a community to connect with. I've made great friends, and really just have grown a lot as an individual and learned a lot of things. So I think this is great, and I appreciate you guys for all that you've done for me. So thank you so much once again. But guys, make sure to like the video down below, click the subscribe button before you get out of here, and click that notification bell so you're notified when content goes live. Guys, there'll be other videos. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one, okay? Peace out. See you later. Bye.